sir.
In our last class, we saw that this old Burman, he is a type of a fatherly figure, you can say, for the two young girls because he is very protective of them, right? So he is very protective, very careful about them. He considers the two young girls maybe as his daughter, right? He considers himself to be a fatherly figure. So now Sue has gone to the old Burman to ask him to be her model because she wants to paint a portrait of an old hermit miner. And you can also see they have a close bond between them because over here you can find that Sue is telling old Berman all about the ailments of John C, right? She is telling everything, how John C has connected her life to the ivy vine, everything she is telling Berman, right? And hearing it, Berman is in contempt and derision for such ideas. He's very angry and he is feeling a lot of contempt for such things that how can someone be so foolish that someone is connecting his or her life to an ivy vine. So he finds this idea very irritating and he's showing a lot of contempt for such an idea. Now, the speech of Burman, you will find it is a type of different language present over here, right? Not proper English words have been used, if you can see the screen. Why this is because that Burman was a Jewish man, all right. So, and the Jews have a distinct language. They have Hebrew as their language. Okay. So, when they settled in Europe, then they had a distinct language. Some of the words were of German, some of the words were of the Hebrew language. So it is a combined language which is using some of the different words which are not exactly English. So you will find a few words which are of a different style. So don't get confused. It is because the author wanted to highlight the Jewish, you can say, descent of Burman, that his ancestry is of Jewish tradition, right? So now we can start reading. Yes, Vaishnavi, you can continue from where the old Burman says, "Vas," he cried.
Was, he cried, is there people in the world made their foolishness to die because leaves they drop off from a confounded vine? I have
Confounded.
not
Confound
heard.
means something that is restricted to a particular area. All right. Something that is small, restricted to a particular area is confounded. Yes.
Confounded vine, I have not heard of such a thing.
Why do you allow
Why do you allow that silly business to come in their brain of
in their
mine?
mind of her? Ach, dot poor little Miss Chauncey. So now what Berman is saying that is there so he is asking that are there such people in the world with such type of foolishness that they are going to die because leaves are dropping from some small confounded vine. So he's saying that who is so much foolish to think like that? Are there any such people present on earth like that? That they think that they are also going to die because some leaves is dropping from a confounded vine. I have not heard of such a thing. So he's saying that I have not heard of such a silly thing. Why? Basically, this is why. Why do you allow that silly business? Silly business means these types of silly thoughts. So he's asking Sue that why do you allow such type of silly thoughts to come in the brain of her, means in her mind. Poor little Miss Johnsy. It is actually little. Okay. You can see Johnsy has been written as Johnsy. This is because of his Jewish descent. All right. So he is using something different. A bit different language has been used. Now Sue is saying she is very ill and weak, and the fever has left her mind morbid and full of strange fancies. Understood? So now Sue is trying to be protective of her. Now she is defending her why she has developed these kinds of imaginations, right? So she is saying that, oh, Johnsy has become very ill. She's very weak. And because her mind is so weak, that's why her mind has become very unhealthy, you can say, or she is in a very sad state. And that is why she has developed such strange fancies. Fancies means strange thoughts, right? The thoughts which are not real, but they are very, you can say, unreal, pure imagination. So she is saying that because she is very ill, very weak, that's why her mind has become, has gone into a very sad state. And this is the reason why she has developed these strange fancies. Okay, now we will move forward. Yes, Harshita.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Very well, Mr. Berman. If you do not care to pose for me, you need not. But I think you are a horrid old flibberty gibbet.
Flibberty gibbet.
Flibberty gibbet.
Yes.
You are just like a woman, yelled Berman. Who
Yes.
said I will not boast? Go on. I come meet you.
Yes.
For half an hour, I have been trying to say that I am ready to bowl. God, this is not any place in which one so good as Miss Yonce shall lie sit. Some day I will paint a masterpiece and we shall all go away. God, yes.
Okay, stop. So now Sue is now saying that, well, very well, Mr. Berman. So now she is saying that, see over here, first Berman was criticizing Johnsy because she has developed such type of fancies. So now Sue is saying, very well, Mr. Berman, if you do not care to pose for me, you need not. So she is now diverting the topic, and now she is saying that I have come to take you as a model, and you are talking about different things. So if you do not care to pose for me, you need not. But I think you are an old horrid flibberty gibbet. Flibberty gibbet means a person who talks too much unnecessarily. All right. So Sue is saying that you are unnecessarily talking so much. If you want to come as a model and help me paint, then okay, otherwise you need not. You are just like a woman, yelled Berman. So now Berman is also getting angry that you are just behaving like a woman. Who said I will not pose? So pose over here basically means pose. Okay, so this is the language of Berman. So he's saying that, when did I say that I will not pose? So you are just saying like that. Go on, I come with you. For half an hour, I have been trying to say that I am ready to boast. So Berman is saying that for the last half an hour, I have been trying to say that I will pose for you, I will serve as a model. Who said I am not going to serve as a model? Then he's saying this is not any place in which so good over here means someone who is good. So his language is a bit different. Someone so good as Miss Johnsy shall lie sick. So so you can clearly see that he's not happy that Johnsy is sick. So he's saying that this is not a good place where Johnsy has fallen sick. So now he is saying, someday I will paint. Paint over here means paint. Someday I will paint a masterpiece and we shall all go away. So he's basically, see, he's taking care of the two young girls. So he's saying that someday I am going to earn a lot of money. I will paint a masterpiece and then we will all go away from here. So he considers both of the girls as part of his family. So he's saying that I will take both of you also and we all shall go away from this place. Okay, yes, Rishabh.
Johnsy was sleeping when they went upstairs. She pulled the shade down to the
Not
window.
she, Sue.
Sue pulled the shade down to the window sill. And
Windowsill. Windowsill is the place where you close, you can see a small sill present where you can keep things by the side of the window, where you close the doors of the window. Are you understanding? You keep something over there. That is called the windowsill.
and motioned Berman into the other room.
Yes.
In there, they peered out the window.
Peered means to
Peered.
look out.
In there, they peered out the window fearfully at the ivy vine. Then they looked at each other for a moment without speaking.
Without speaking, yes.
A
Continue.
persistent cold rain was falling, mingled with snow.
Yes.
Berman, in this old blue
In his
in his,
old blue shirt.
in his old blue shirt, took his seat at the hermit miner on an upturned kettle for a rock.
Yes.
When Sue awoke from an hour's sleep the next morning, she found Johnsy with dull, wide open eyes, starting at the drawn green
Staring.
shade. Staring at the drawn green shade.
Yes.
Pull it up. I want to see, she ordered in a whisper. Wearily, Sue obeyed.
Okay, stop. So now, when now Berman has agreed that he is going to pose as the model, so now they went upstairs, right? So Johnsy was sleeping when they went upstairs. So when they went upstairs, at that time Johnsy was sleeping. Sue pulled the shade down to the window. So this is that window only from where Johnsy was looking outside at the ivy vine. So Sue pulled the shade down means she pulled down the curtains, right? Down to the windowsill and motioned Berman into the other room. So now she is taking Berman into the other room so that they don't disturb the sleeping Johnsy. In there, they peered out at the window fearfully at the ivy vine. So from there, they looked out of the window at the vine. They looked at each other for a moment without speaking. So something very dangerous must have been happening outside. That's why they were looking at each other and they were not talking. They were a bit disturbed by what they saw outside. A persistent cold rain was falling, mingled with snow. So now you can see that a cold rain was falling throughout the night, and mingled with snow means mixed with snow. So a bit of snow was also falling and cold rain was also falling. So now you can understand that the situation was very drastic. So because of this cold rain and snow, the leaves will fall down, right? Berman, in his old blue shirt, took his seat as the hermit miner on an upturned kettle for a rock. So now Berman is now sitting in his old blue shirt and he's taking the seat as on an upturned kettle. So kettle, you know, is used for making tea. So he turned the kettle upside down and used it as a rock and sat on it. Okay, because he is a hermit miner, so he needs to sit on a rock for the portrait. So now he is using this upturned kettle as a rock and he sat on it. And now Sue is going to paint him. When Sue awoke from an hour's sleep the next morning, she found Johnsy with dull, wide open eyes staring at the drawn green shade. So you can see that Sue must have worked all night. Why? Because it is being said over here that when Sue woke up from an hour's sleep the next morning. So morning came and she had slept only for an hour. So she must have been working the whole night. When Sue awoke from an hour's sleep the next morning, she found Johnsy. So Johnsy was already awake with dull, wide open eyes staring at the drawn green shade. Drawn green shade means the curtains were drawn, so she could not see outside the window. So she was looking at the curtains. She was waiting that as soon as Sue wakes up, she is going to ask her to remove the curtain so that she can see at the condition of the ivy vine. So you can see how dedicated Johnsy is also to dying. That as soon as she woke up, she started looking at the window so that she can see the condition of the ivy vine. So everybody is doing their work constantly. So for the whole night, Sue is also busy with her work. Johnsy is also busy with her trying to die, right? And Berman is also at all times ready to paint a masterpiece, even though he is not able to do it. Okay, so pull it up. I want to see. She ordered in a whisper. So now she is, why in a whisper? Because she has no strength to speak, right? So she is always whispering, talking very slowly in a low voice. Pull it up. I want to see. Wearily Sue obeyed. Wearily over here you can say is unwillingly. Okay, let me open it. So Sue obeyed. Oh, but lo, after the beating rain and fierce gust of wind that had endured through the day like long night, yet there stood out against the brick wall one ivy leaf. Okay, so now what happens? Even after the whole night cold rain was falling along with the snow, and fierce gust of wind means strong winds were also blowing the whole night. Then also enduring all that rain, snow, and wind, then also there stood one ivy leaf. So one ivy leaf was still present on the ivy vine. So the hope to live for Johnsy was still there. Yes, Aryan.
Yes, sir. But lo, after the beating
No,
rain
it
and
was the
fierce,
last one on the vine. Do it from
it was the last one on the vine, still dark green near its stem, with its serrated
there.
edges
Yes, serrated edges.
tinted with the yellow of dissolution and decay. It hung bravely from the branch some 20 feet above the ground. "It is the last one," said Johnsy. "I thought it would surely fall during the night. I heard the wind. It will fall today, and I shall die at the same time.
Okay, stop.
Dear,
All right. So now when the window was opened, one leaf was present. So now the condition of the leaf has been given by the author. It was the last one on the vine, is still dark green near its stem. So now this is very important. That from the stem, from the branch, it was still dark green, which means that it still had life in it. Okay, because if it would have become yellow or brown, it would have meant that it was going to fall anytime soon, right? But at the point where it was connected to the branch, at that place it was still dark green, means it still had some life left with its serrated edges. Serrated edges means pointed edges. So basically the edges of of that leaf was something like saw like, right? The saw that is used to cut wood, you know. So the edges of the leaves were like that. Some of the leaves have these kind of serrated edges, tinted with the yellow of dissolution and decay. So at the edges, the leaf was turning yellow. Okay. So at the point where it was connected to the branch, there it was green, but its edges have started turning yellow. It means gradually the leaf was dissolving, decaying, and dying. So from the edges, its decay had started. So now gradually it will decay in its main part, and then that decay would continue to the point where it was attached to the branch, and then it would fall off. It hung bravely from the branch some 20 feet above the ground. So at this point of time, it hung bravely from the branch. Why bravely? Because it has braved the storm for the entire night. So it has been called brave. uh, it is the last one, said Johnsy. So now Johnsy is saying that it is the last one that is left now. I thought it would surely fall during the night. So Johnsy is saying that I thought no leaf will be left. I thought it would also fall during the night. Why? Because I heard the wind. So she is saying that I heard the strong wind blowing. And because such a strong wind was blowing, I thought the leaf will blow away with it. So I didn't expect it to be there. But still, she is saying it will fall today. So she is saying that, but still, this leaf is going to fall today, and I shall die at the same time. And then she is saying that as soon as this leaf will fall today, I will also die. Okay, only this much is left on this page, so I am going to complete it. Dear, dear, said Sue, leaning her worn face down to the pillow. So now Sue is going to say, think of me if you won't think of yourself. So now Sue is saying, why do you always talk about dying? If you do not want to live, if you do not want to think about yourself, at least think about me, because you are important to me. If you die, I will also lose a lot. So if you can't think of yourself to live, then at least think for me. What would I do? So she is saying, what would I do if you will die? But Johnsy did not answer. All right. Yes, Sarah.
Good morning, teachers. The day wore away, and even through the
Twilight. Yes.
twilight, they could see the lawn ivy leaf
Clinging. Yes.
clinging to its stem against the wall. With the coming of the night, the north wind was again loosed, while the rain beat against the windows. When it was light enough, Johnsy, the merciless, commanded that the shade be raised. The ivy leaf was still there. Johnsy lay for a long time looking at it. Then she called to Sue, who was stirring her chicken broth over the gas stove.
Yes.
I have been a bad girl, Sue, said Johnsy. Something has made that last leaf stay there to show me how weak I was.
Yes.
It is a sin to want to die. You may bring me a little broth now and no, bring me a hand mirror first, and I will sit up and watch you cook. An hour later, she said, Sue, someday I hope to paint the Bay of Naples. The
Okay.
doctor came.
Okay. Stop. So now the day wore away. So now the entire day has passed. It means, and even through the twilight, they could see the lone ivy leaf clinging to its stem against the wall. Twilight is that period of time when the sun is down its horizon. So basically, when the sun has set. So you can see a time when there is a soft glow in the sky and the sun has gone down in the evening time, you can say that is the twilight period. So over here it is being said that the day has gone and now it was the twilight. So basically the entire day has passed and still they could see that one ivy leaf was still clinging to its stem against the wall. So that one leaf was still surviving. Then with the coming of the night, so now the night has come again, so one day has again passed. The north wind was again loose. Again loose means it again started blowing. So the wind from the north again came and started blowing while the rain beat against the windows. So again at night it also started raining and there was also strong winds blowing, right? So the same situation of the last night occurred this night as well. When it was light enough, Johnsy the Merciless commanded that the shade be raised. So now when the night has again passed and the next morning came so that Johnsy could look outside the window, she again commanded that the curtain should be raised so that she can see whether the last ivy leaf has survived the night or not. The ivy leaf was still there. So this leaf is not going away, even though how much wind blows, how much there is rain, how much there is snow, it is braving everything and it is still surviving. Johnsy lay for a long time looking at it. So now even Johnsy is thinking, why is this leaf not falling? Then she called to Sue, who was stirring her chicken broth over the gas stove. So now she is calling Sue, who was preparing the chicken broth for her on the stove. I have been a bad girl, Sue, said Johnsy. So now Johnsy is realizing her mistake that she was wanting to die. So now she is saying that I have been a very bad girl. Something has made that last leaf stay there to show me how wicked I was. So now she is saying that something, actually she wants to say that there is some divine intervention present. That there is some divine intervention, which means that this is from God, that the last leaf has stayed over there, and it has shown me that how wicked I was, that I was trying to die, right? I was not willing to live. It is a sin to want to die. So now she is saying that it is a sin for me to want to die and not to live, because everybody should want to live, because it is a blessing, it is a gift from God. So because I was not accepting the gift of God, instead I was trying to die, and it is a sin. So something has helped the last leaf to stay there, to in order to make me recognize that how wicked I was in wanting to die. You may bring me a little broth now, and no, bring me a hand mirror first, and I will sit up and watch you cook. So now she is coming back to life. Now she has gained her senses, that there is some divine intervention indeed present to her here. That is why this ivy leaf has not fallen. And I was a sinner, that I was committing a sin in wanting to die. So now she is saying that now I am going to sit up. I will watch you cook. Right. So now she is coming back to life, coming back to her senses. An hour later, she said, "Someday, Sue, I hope to paint the Bay of Naples." So now you can see how normal she is becoming. That after an hour, now she is saying that someday I am going to paint the Bay of Naples. So this is an indication that now she is thinking about living. She is thinking about her future plans, right? So now everything is coming back to normal, and now she is thinking about how she is going to lead her life further. Okay. Yes, Samarth?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Yes.
The doctor came in the afternoon and Sue had an excuse to go into the hallway as he left. Even chances, said the doctor, taking Sue's thin, shaking hand in his with good nursing. You will win.
Nursing.
Nursing, you will win. Now I must see another case downstairs. His name is Berman. Some kind of an artist, I believe. Pneumonia too. He is an old weak man and the attack is acute. There is no hope for him, but he goes to the hospital today to be made more comfortable. The next day, the doctor said to Sue, "She is out of danger. You won. Nutrition and
You
care
won.
now."
Okay.
That's
One
all.
is the past tense of win. Okay. So you won.
That afternoon, Sue came to the bed where Johnsy lay and put one arm around her. "I have something to tell you," she said. "Mr. Berman died of pneumonia today in the hospital. He was ill only 2 days. The janitor found him in his room downstairs, helpless with pain. His shoes and clothing were wet through an icy cold. They couldn't imagine where he had been on such a dreadful night."
Okay. Stop. Stop. So over here now, wait for a minute. So now the doctor came in the afternoon. So that afternoon, when Johnsy started feeling all right, the doctor came, and Sue had an excuse to go into the hallway as he left. So you can see how caring she is for Johnsy, that she never talks to the doctor in front of Johnsy for her real condition, so that she does not know if anything wrong is happening, right? If her condition is not good. So she made an excuse, went into the hallway to talk to the doctor. "Even chances," said the doctor, taking Sue's thin, shaking hand in his. So now the doctor is saying that the chances are even. At first, he said that there is one chance in 10, right? Only 10% chances are there that she can survive. But now he's saying even chances, which means a 50-50 chance is there. Taking Sue's thin, shaking hand in his. So Sue's hands are shaking. So you can see how much she loves Johnsy, right? That she gets nervous about hearing her, that what is going to happen. With good nursing, you will win. So the doctor is saying that if you will take good care of her, then you are going to win. Win over here means that Johnsy is going to live then. Now I must see another case downstairs. So now the doctor is saying that now I must go downstairs to see another case. Another case means another patient. His name is Berman, some kind of an artist, I believe. So he's saying that he's Berman, an artist. Pneumonia too. So the doctor is telling that he has also caught pneumonia. He is an old, weak man, and the attack is acute. Acute means strong. Okay. So the attack of pneumonia to that old man is very strong. It is very acute. There is no hope for him. So the doctor is saying that for him, there is no hope of surviving. So he is saying that there are good chances that he is going to die. But he goes to the hospital today to be made more comfortable. So the doctor is saying that he will be taken to the hospital and we will try to make him more comfortable. Then the rest is up to God, right? The next day, the doctor said to Sue, she is out of danger. You won. Nutrition and care now. That's all. So the next day, Sue again takes the update on Johnson's condition, and the doctor says that now she is out of danger. So basically, she has survived. Now she is out of danger. You have won. Now you only need nutrition and care. So take good care of her and give her healthy food to eat. That is all. That afternoon, Sue came to the bed where Johnsy lay and put one arm around her. So Sue came to Johnsy to tell something. I have something to tell you, she said. Mr. Berman died of pneumonia today. So she is telling that Mr. Berman has died of pneumonia today in the hospital. The doctor has said that he will be taken to the hospital, so he died over there. He was ill only 2 days. So within 2 days, he died basically. The janitor found him in his room downstairs, helpless with pain. So he was in a lot of pain. The janitor found him in a lot of pain in his room, basically, right? Then what he said? His shoes and clothes were wet through an icy cold. Wet through means they were totally wet. Okay. Through means that only, that they were very wet, or you can say they were totally wet. So his shoes were also wet and they were icy cold. It means that he must have been outside. Why? Otherwise, how would his clothes and how would his shoes be so cold and wet, right? So he must have been outside. They couldn't imagine where had he been on such a dreadful night. So the janitor, first of all, understand that janitor is a person who takes care of a building. Okay, so you can see that he is the caretaker of their building. So he found him in his room in this condition. So they could not imagine, the people who saw Mr. Berman, that where could this man be on such a dreadful night. Why dreadful night? Because every night it was rain and snow. So why would someone go out in such a night and get himself so wet, right? So nobody could imagine where this man could go on such a dreadful night. All right. They found a lantern. Okay, now Pranjal can read this. Yes, Pranjal.
Yes, sir. Good morning, teachers.
Good one.
Then they found a lantern still lighted and a ladder that had been dragged from its place, and some scattered brushes and a palette with green and yellow colors mixed on it. And look out of the window, dear, at the last ivy leaf on the wall. Didn't you wonder why it never fluttered or moved when the wind blew? Ah, darling, it's Berman's masterpiece. He painted it there the night that the last leaf fell.
Okay. So they found a lantern, is still lighted. Lantern, do you know what is a lantern? Lantern basically is a lamp. All right. The lamp which is okay. So lantern is a lamp which was still lighted. So they found a lamp which was still lighted and a ladder that had been dragged from its place. So the ladder was also dragged from its place and some scattered brushes and a palette. So basically it is the work of a painter, right? That palettes, scattered brushes are present. A palette is there. Palette is the small tray in which color is mixed with green and yellow colors mixed on it. Why green and yellow colors? Because the leaf is green and yellow, right? So the palette had green and yellow colors mixed on it. And look out of the window, dear, at the last ivy leaf on the wall. So now Sue is saying that John C. dear, look out at the last leaf on the wall. Didn't you wonder why it never fluttered or moved when the wind blew? So now Sue is saying that you never saw, you never noticed that this leaf never fluttered with the wind, right? It never moved in the wind when the wind was blowing. It was always fixed at one place. Never did you never see, did you never notice it? Ah, darling, it's Berman's masterpiece. So this is actually Berman who painted this leaf. He painted it there the night that last leaf fell. So that last leaf had actually fallen that night only. But what Berman did, he went there outside in the night when it was windy and snow and rain was falling. That old man painted the leaf and put it there in its place. So that in the morning, when Johnsy wakes up and sees the last ivy leaf, she will have the will to live. She will have the hope to live. So basically, you can see that he sacrificed his life to save Johnson's life, right? So I have already told you that he was a sort of fatherly figure for the two girls. So he tried to save Johnson's life, and throughout his life, you can see he never created a masterpiece, right? He always tried to create a painting, but it was never done. Throughout his life for 40 years, he had a brush in his hand, but he was never able to make a good painting, right? But you can see that at the end moment of his life, he has created such a masterpiece. So this was Berman's masterpiece that he made the last ivy leaf, which made, you can say, Johnsy survive and live, right? So this is the story.